DreamHack Open is brought to you by Astro, Monster Energy, Corsair, Hacks, and GGBet.
Welcome, Hack, to the DreamHack Open here in Jönköping. In fact, it's about Christmas time, so perhaps I hit you with a little bit of trivia. What's so special about the Christmas alphabet, you might ask? There's no L. When does Christmas come before Thanksgiving in the dictionary? What's red and white and goes up and down? Easy. That's got to be an easy one. That's one I might not even have to explain that much. It's Santa Claus in an elevator. My God, sometimes you overthink things and it really just goes too far. In fact, I've probably gone too far with that one, and we're going to go over here to the other guys on the desk, the analyst, Elf1 and Elf2. They also have real names, but if we told you that, it would kind of ruin the Christmas festive spirit. Is that right, guys? Or is it? No, wait, yeah, it's Pimp and Bled. There we go. Fine.
The fact that you're speaking is ruining my mood right now, Trace.
I have said that every single time you've ever opened your mouth around me.
Yeah, and here we still are.
Here we are nonetheless. So let's carry on the Christmas tradition of being merry and festive by talking about how this group unfolded to bring us into our last match. G2 and ENCe have found their way through the elimination brackets, and well, it's been a long ride for both of these teams here in Jönköping.
Yeah, I mean, it's been one of the more crazy groups, right? Until, of course, Existence managed to come second in their group. But yeah, Bravado, 2 best-of-1 wins, close games both, but, you know, wins a win, 16-14 against Optic, 16-13 against G2, meaning that we had Optic being the first team to get knocked out. No one really expected that. And then now it is going to be the battle for the second slot here. And it's going to be a rough ride going forward for either of these two teams, because the winner is going to be facing off against Heroic, who've been looking like the best team so far in tournaments. It's going to be a rough ride going forth, but this is going to be an interesting matchup because it is going to be a revenge matchup, especially for ENCe.
Talk to me about the revenge that could mean, Jacob. Give me a little bit more insight into this matchup.
I mean, when you lose to a team once, you definitely want to beat them the next time, and especially in the fashion it happened in the first game. You had ENCe leading 11-4, I believe, against G2. You felt they were under full control, and then all of a sudden it went to hell, and they ended up losing the game 16-14.
Jacob, you talked about fashion, and you know who's got that on lockdown?
Me.
No, but Hacks GG does. That's right, the official apparel sponsor of DreamHack. And they also have got 3 reasons why. Well, I guess Jacob does. Take it away, Jacob.
Yeah, Trace, I got you 3 reasons why G2 is an unknown yet so interesting quantity at this event. First reason is the fact that Shox is now back being the in-game leader. I think that's a super, I wouldn't say cool move, but it's a super interesting move because he's done it before many times. It's a guy who used to be one of the best players in the world, used to admire this guy for being one of the most versatile players in the game as well, but now he all of a sudden had an idea in his own head, I guess, that he also wanted to be an in-game leader, sort of like approaching that style of play as well. It has worked out decently in some of his former teams. He's even tried it in G2 before, but it has never been consistently working, and that's where I find it a little bit interesting. Is this going to be the time where Shox is finally going to evolve into a full-time in-game leader and a full dedicated in-game leader, or is this going to be another stint of his where he's just trying it for a few months and then giving the word back to one of the other guys on the team? I have my doubts, but it's definitely going to be interesting to see for the future, and it's definitely going to be interesting to see for this matchup, whatever he's good enough already now to lead these young guys. The second reason why this is an interesting team of G2 right now is the 2 new guys, Jax and Lucky. We don't know that much about them. We've seen them play in 3D Max and we've seen them deliver some decent stats, some decent results, and some decent games, but it's not players that we are familiar with at this level. This is a fine taste of it, though. This is a fine tournament to come in on a team like G2 and try it out for the first time, and what we've seen so far of this tournament, it hasn't been too good, neither has it been too bad. It's sort of just been like average, so I'm looking forward to see what they can do against a team like ENCe in a best-of-3 scenario where it really matters the most. Let's not forget the loser of this game goes home. The third reason why G2 is super interesting and an unknown quantity as well is because they have ENCe, a guy that used to be the absolute best in the world with the AVP. It's been some time since we've seen that level, but we got glimpses of it in the first matchup between these two very teams, ENCe and G2. He was dropping 29 frags and he was looking like his old shelf. If he can get back to that form and if he can play like that in this best-of-3, ENCe is going to have a big problem on their hands.
I kind of find it
That was pretty good.
But I kind of find it a little sad that Body's not there in the list at all.
Why?
I'm just saying.
Yeah, don't be sad, be happy.
Okay, well, let's be happy.
All right.
Because, I mean, well, he's not here, but I guess we could actually be happy by looking at the vetoes. Again, a best of 3, and it is an elimination game at that. The last team that we will be sitting on at the semifinals. And guys, this is a crucial point for both of these teams.
Yeah, but this is the one of the rare vetoes here in this entire tournament where it's really rough to predict this one, right? Because ENCe are unpredictable as well when it comes to vetoes, and like Kenny said yesterday, G2's map pool is going to be kind of new here. But I'm just going to give some predictions out there. I think ENCe is going to play it a little safe. They're going to ban out Cash. It's a map they're not comfortable on, and G2 can be really, really good on. I think both the teams are going to be comfortable playing on Dust 2. Because G2 obviously beat them, and then ENCe are going to be feeling a little comfortable as well after today's game, right? So I think we might see Dust 2 as kind of like a decider game, but apart from that, it's up in the air. Are ENCe gonna go for the Cash ban earlier on, or are they gonna try and ban out Nuke? Because their Nuke looked a little shaky, and G2 can't play Nuke, so it's all over the place. And I'm just gonna say I might, for a certainty, I think we're gonna see Dust 2, but everything else I have no idea.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's going to be interesting to see what route G2 wants to go with the veto. Obviously, the first bans are coming in now, so we can see where they lead out. It's going to be Cash and Train out of the mix. Makes sense for both. G2 has never played Train, and it's quite fun to think about, because Shox never wanted to play Train, and ENCe is not known for being a great Train player, because his team has basically never played them. Yeah. Whereas you think to yourself, Shox should be a great Train player. The way he plays so proactive, the way he plays so aggressively, especially on the T side, should fit for Train pretty well. ENCe is being an AWPer. Like, all AWPers like Train. It's just the way it is. So it's sort of like fun that you don't get to see that for G2. Makes sense though, they get it out of the way. You get to see Mirage and Overpass being picked. As you were saying, it makes sense. Overpass though is an interesting pick to me.
Yeah, that is a little surprising, to be honest. I thought G2 would probably... I really wouldn't have been surprised if they went with a Nuke pick here, but now is an opportunity for ENCe to probably ban out Nuke. I don't think even they're that confident in that particular map, and G2 can be an unknown quantity on that particular map as well, right? So I think Nuke's going to get banned out here, but instead it's going to be G2 banning it out, which is very surprising. All right, at least got a Dust 2 thing right. That's a map voter going to be pretty comfortable to close things out on. The Inferno ban makes sense as well. So yeah, all things considered, the map bans are nothing too crazy, nothing too surprising. I think maybe the order was a little off. I thought maybe the Nuke ban would come earlier on from, and I thought it would probably come from ENCe. But all things considered, it kind of makes sense here. Mirage,
it all makes sense, Trace.
Does it? But does it make dollars? Because it can all add up, but does it make the Skrilla? Speaking of Skrilla, let's start to take a look at our first team, G2 Esports. They're already getting locked in on the stage, and it's going to be Body, Lucky, Kenny S, Jax, and the leader, the driver of this ship, Shoxy.
And that is a team that knows of the word Skrilla and dollars, Trace. These are guys who are getting paid a lot of money to play Counter-Strike, because they're good at it, at least they used to be good at it. A guy like Shox, as I just said before, he used to be one of the best players in the world, so did Kenny S. We haven't seen that level from them in quite some time, so we want to see that from them. We want to see the stars of this team step up and take that responsibility that the Skrilla comes with. It is a team that also, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as I know, just signed new contracts, all 5 of them, so like they're locked in team. This is supposed to be the G2 of the future, so we get to see now what they're made of in the first LAN tournament. Let's manage expectations a little bit as well. I think it's fair to say that we can't expect them to go in here and win the tournament, but at least give us a good showing here against ENCe, who are my favorites together with Heroic to win the entire thing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. The one thing about this particular team has been, of course, the fact that, like you said, right, they are an unknown quantity, but at least they did get a win yesterday, and they were looking pretty. At least Kenny S was looking a little happy, right? He's like, we're angry, we're hungry, we're hangry, and they want to really win. And also, we did see some moments of brilliance coming out from Jax. I do believe it was yesterday, where he started in the second game at least, where he started to wake up, even though they eventually lost the game. So, yeah, I do agree. It is going to be a little hard for them because they're still kind of like finding this stride here, trying to figure out this stuff, and ENCe, on the other hand, have been playing together for quite a while. But at this guy on the screen we see here, if he steps... Look, it's always hard to lead a team like this, especially, and also try to frag at a usual level at the same time. But we all know Shox can do that. Now, if he really goes off, and he's been the best rated player by far for quite a while as well, and if Kenny S plays like he did yesterday in Dust 2, the vintage stuff coming out from him, and the rest of them just have to do just put in some numbers. That's all they need to do. I think ENCe could have, I wouldn't say, a very rough time, but it could get a little interesting.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm looking forward to see the 2 new guys play, though, Jax and Lucky. I think those 2 are very interesting when it comes to G2. Obviously, you see their coach, I think he's called Malik, and he's been surrounding some of these guys before as well. It's going to be interesting to see how well they can fare against a team like ENCe, who is a very fundamentally strong Counter-Strike team.
Well, we can actually kind of address the audience that is Finnish. I'm sure they're all crowded around there at O'Leary's in the Helsinki Forum right about now. But it's time to introduce the ENCe squad once again. It's going to be Ariel, ENCe B, Alu, Sergey, and this man, X7. As far as this team goes, they show a lot of promise. And yes, they might have faltered in the beginning matches here, but I'm willing to say that they're on a pretty good path to righteousness.
I think what's most impressive about ENCe these days is the fact that they've consistently managed to get better event by event. We saw them the first time at Cologne. There was a very surprising display by them. They did super, super well, and I believe they got to the quarterfinal, at least were very close to do so. And then the following events, we saw some more potential. Then they went on to win Star Level. We saw them grow even more, and now they're here at DreamHack Open. Obviously, you could say that if they don't win this tournament, it will be a step back, but you can't expect a team like ENCe to win every single tournament. You face great opposition. You face a Heroic who's currently playing their best Counter-Strike ever as well. Are they to win this match? And you face a G2 who has a lot of star players on the team as well. But the thing that is impressive to this lineup to me is the fact that they've consistently managed to get better and better event by event. And to me, that tells me that their strategy and the way they work around the team and the way they work with themselves, as players and as individuals, is definitely getting better. You see often teams coming in, like LDLC for that matter, you have one good event, you go back and you just start sucking. Whereas for ENCe, they have a good event and they get better. They have a good event, they get better. And that tells me that they're doing something right.
Yeah, and that's got to be from a top-down perspective, too. That's not always something that just kind of formulates on its own within teams, not at the player base. And in fact, I feel like a lot of teams do lack that sort of synergy that can bring them together at the top and kind of help them focus on what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, and really expanding on the things that they're doing right.
That is true. And the one thing I want to point out as well would be the fact that when it comes to this particular team, like you said, they keep getting better and better. But one thing which I really appreciated, which is something which you miss a lot even amongst Tier 1 teams, would be the fundamentals are always present all the time. And quick head-to-head, I mean, you picked these two guys. And yeah. I think I know why you picked Sergey. Why Body?
Because I think Buddy is interesting, because we talked about the other guys and you were crying about him not being mentioned. So here he is.
I wasn't crying about it. Just like he felt left out. Like,
you said that you were crying.
All right, well, listen,
I'm sentimental sometimes.
For what it's worth, I've got Bobby Boucher on one hand who's not happy, and then I've got Bled that's also not happy. And
I'm happy all the time. I don't know what you're talking about, Chase.
I'm going to need you guys to kind of like bring it in here for a second so we can kind of go over the odds, kind of give the viewer at home some expectations as to who's going to be winning this thing and who's not going to be winning this thing. But first, perhaps we tie in those viewers at home by themselves and let them vote at home. You can do just that, and in fact, that's exactly how you should participate, by putting your votes in the Twitch chat, !G2 or !ENCE. That's short for ENCe, and it could be easy for them, so let's see what the vote yields. And in the meantime, we're going to be looking at our predictions, guys. Put your money where your mouth is. I know it could be a little bit tougher, but I think I know where you guys are going to go in this one. Start with you, Jacob.
Starting with me. Again, I feel like I'm a broken record at this point. I think it's going to be a close game. I think both teams have a lot to offer. I think the individuals from G2 will have to shine at some point. I want to see KennyS at least have a good game. I want to see the new guys come in and contribute to this team, and I want to see some signs that this G2 lineup can be good. Don't forget that they're going to play the ESL Pro League finals as well in a week from now on, and that's a much bigger tournament against much better oppositions. So if they cannot beat ENCe, and if they cannot do at least a good fight here, there's no chance they're going to win or even come far in that tournament. So I want to see some signs of glory. Not expecting them to win. I think it's going to be ENCe 2-1, or at least, I don't know, 2-1, 2-0, it doesn't really matter. I think ENCe is the better team, the more fundamental, strong team as well, and they have a little bit more depth to the squad and a little bit more know-how how to win games at this stage of the game.
Yeah, I'm gonna be starting with ENCe as well, for all the reasons stated, but also the fact that the previous game we saw when they played today against Optic, like, they were looking very solid. They didn't have that one. There's one issue that crops with ENCe is closing out games, and they didn't have the problem the last two maps. So as long as that's not there, I think G2 is going to have a very rough time indeed. It could get a little close here and there, but ENCe should take this. I'm going to say 2-1.
I'm going to have to say it's probably easy for the professional esports organization ENCe, and here's why. It all comes together here. This is where they start to dominate this DreamHack Open. This DreamHack winter is in their hands, and that young savage that is Ariel, followed by an ENCe B, right up there with an X7, and not to forget God Alu will be putting a little bit of G2 behind. He's Sergey there too, but you know what? I was getting there if you guys could just chill. Anyway, in the meantime, while you're chilling at home, head over to Snipe. Let's get yourself a digital pass. You can have an all-encompassing experience of this DreamHack Open. Head over to www.dreamhack.com/digital pass. Grab yourself one right now. Do it for the home team. And in the meantime, we're going to get out of here and give it over to the commentators. Guys, Scrawny Launders, What are your expectations in this matchup?
I feel like with G2 struggles that we've seen as of late, maybe ENCe will walk away with a win here. It's been the story of the underdogs, and I think ENCe are no longer underdogs. But when you look at the tenure and the experience and the accomplishments historically of this G2 roster, at least the core, I mean, these are no easy feats. So let's see if the young guns from Finland can do much.
I think it's possible. I think it's actually very likely.
I think that's fair, actually, in terms of our Twitch chat predictions. You guys have been busy.
It's a very reasonable chat today.
Doing whatever it is you do out there.
I actually want to know how well they predicted. I think they predicted quite well. It hasn't just been
trying to rack my
has it?
brain, but yeah, I feel like they've been on point.
It's been reflective of the money betting odds, too, I feel like.
Yeah, we've had some armchair analysts out there doing their job.
Yeah.
I mean, doing better than Pimp at times.
Oh, not shooting for the stars.
Falling
Keeping the
amongst
bar
them.
low.
Launders, do you have any particular insight that you feel you need to get off your chest here? Do you have any predictions you want to talk about?
I am tabula rasa, my friend. I have no idea what's going to happen.
Is that a blank slate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Used normally in a different context. But I will say that what I'm most confused about was the same thing that Blab brought up, was that he was like, well, overpass, that's a little weird.
Right.
But this is something that, Kenny S saying that they've got maybe a new map pool coming into the fold. This is probably one thing that they're going to test today, and it'll be good. They'll have the opportunity to come in inconspicuously. Like, ENCe will be kind of confused by the pick as well. They won't know what to expect. Kenny S is a huge threat on overpass. He's an amazing opper on this map.
Fair.
And I think it's just a map that they all know how to play, like, somewhat, so I feel like it's just going to be a strong performance for them. I still think ENCe are going to take this series, though.
I would side with you there, yes.
Yeah.
Because I think that, like, again, Blab brings it up, the overpass is a bit of an asterisk. There's a question mark there. And I don't think that they're an incompetent team. I don't think they're going to struggle as much on overpass. But I do think that figuring out this map pool is actually one of the reasons they find themselves in this decider game. Because yesterday, playing Nuke versus Bravado, I think played very heavily into the hands of the South Africans. And so when you're in this process of kind of figuring out your pool, while also in the midst of a competition, that can come back to bite you. So only time will tell, Launders. And the time is now, folks. Mirage, map 1 between G2 and ENCe, and no one can figure out how to break the vents.
They're actually just all camping outside here, hoping that maybe mid-control is taken, that once that no CTs have been spotted, that somebody jumps into the window that they can kill, I would assume. And that is something that you would expect to see. If you were ENCe and you got a free window control, just walk right by that vent. Maybe get headshotted by Shox. Maybe he doesn't even blow out the vent when he does it. If he's good enough, and we know he is clean with that USP. So initial connector control is being taken, but it's also Cat simultaneously. Bomb trickling towards the A site with a smoke going down on B. So here are the rotations, and there's the headshot. Lurker gets taken out, and Body joins in with him.
The 2-tap dirt naps. That's the end of Ariel and Alu. Now with the bomb getting itself closer to the A site, look at this stack up from G2. They're all on the CT spawn, and ENCe7's trying to find some kind of space here for his teammates to work with. The Glocks firing off sporadically, frantically looking for headshots, but the bodies continue to fall. And now Sergey, the last man down for ENCe, means G2 take a pistol.
Yeah, vehement aggression on the A site after they got those initial kills, did not allow the bomb to even get planted or come close to attempting the bomb, or come close to allowing the bomb to get planted. I think I said the exact same thing. Twice, yeah.
But you're just really certain.
The coffee hasn't kicked in quite yet, Connor. But yeah, that was a really nice pistol round from G2. The setup worked perfectly, and I liked it from ENCe as well. I think the fake made sense. It's just that G2 were so ready, and they got those first kills.
Boy, it's the meat grinder. An MP9 coupled up with the M4. It's a full house between Jax and Shox. Where was that coffee you talked about?
Yeah.
So solid anti-eco. I mean, what are you going to do if you're ENCe? You got nothing invested. You go for the Palace pop. If there's not a player up close in your face, maybe you just jump out, parade into A, and nab yourself a bomb plant. But in this case, absolutely not. 2-0, let's go. It's time for some AKs.
Yeah, it's time for some AKs for sure. And here is the use of the skybox being opened up. I've heard that it's actually not a big enough change to make a meaningful difference at times, just because sometimes spawns can beat it. ENCe7 is getting ahead of this engagement. Now, 3 players in B, doesn't want to run headfirst into this trap, and with the amount of utility coming his way, he's got to be a little bit concerned. He has been lucky just to get in front of this smoke, however. That is a huge point of relief for his team. They don't have to work on this map control again. They don't have to expel nades to do it. They just use his spawn, and he gets an opening kill.
Yeah, he stays around long enough to punish that push from body. I feel like when you have 3 of those B players, you can, offer one up, but not the second.
Not the second one.
Lucky gets nailed to the back of Van, and just like that, in the opening gun round, we have ENCe 5v3. 2 of these defenders still towards the A site, one of which pinned in the sandwich, and Shox is not going to win his duel. It all falls on the shoulder of Jackson. He too gets toppled, which means that is A for the taking. Bomb en route, and X7 could even get himself the 3rd B player.
Will he make it a thing? That is pretty shocking. Extraordinary individual play. Fall back off this Molotov. kennyS doesn't want to let him go. But at this point, it's kennyS who is the caged animal. In between a smoke and fire. And now it's going to get sandwiched. How will he work his way out of this one? He won't. What a round from X7.
I mean, he was so quick on his feet to get into the apartments to begin with, punishes the push from body, finds that headshot to Lucky that I think really starts to pick apart the round. Was it through smoke?
He did it. Talk about lucky.
Not so lucky. Not so lucky after all.
Yeah,
nice little 3-piece there from X7. That bursts G2's bubble, and they're back into these pistols.
Yeah, popped open. All right, so that's a nice way to start off this map after losing a pistol. They brought it right back. And they kept so many players alive because of his heroic efforts. So it looks like he's going to continue this unfettered aggression, moving all the way to the front of B apartments. But it is the anti-eco, and they should be aware of this, so they'll try to play it slow. They'll take some map control, hang on to a certain point, won't overstay, or not overstay, won't overextend, and hope for the CTs to make a mistake. Lucky's out in no man's land, but it might be enough to get him 1 shot or 2 shots in.
Oh, just overwhelmed. Too many CTs coming in hot.
It's scary being an underpass when CTs can come and just wide swing on you, so probably a little worried.
Especially if you're close, you're within that range of lethality versus P250s. Speaking of being lethal, those AKs fire off. Body and Shox both tag low. They seem to know. Sergey's found him. Body can't move much without making sound, so that right there is the 2nd round. It's ENCe to tie it 2.
Nice. Well done. Clean rounds. I like the attempt on G2. Got some fresh anti-eco setups. They made it, basically, they took what would be a rifle setup with Lucky at mid, and then they had a lot of players who were grouped up there. The only thing that they needed was for ENCe to go for mid control slowly, which they did. So it played into their hand. So you like to see that they have, you know, a really well thought out anti-eco setup, or eco setup, even though they don't have much to work with. So they gave it a shot. They got a kill. That's enough for them. Definitely like to see some more of their ideas. This is when the team is going to be the freshest. So there's a lot to learn for fans, legacy fans of G2, you know, fans throughout all the roster changes. I might be just projecting here, but I'm one of those people. So, yeah.
This goes into what,
caught your attention?
This is, I mean, Pimp brings this up on the desk as well. Like, you want to watch the newcomers of G2. You've got this double up setup, and I think that's something Lucky brings to the table. You'd sometimes see Shox do this prior to the roster changes. But Lucky's a very good hybrid player. It's not him that picks up the opening kill this round. It is, in fact, the masterclass offer of Kenny Schaub. But now we've got Shox laying down the law for just a little while. The kills start coming back the way of ENCe, but not the HP, Launders.
Not the HP, indeed. It's 3v3, but it would still be a long shot for ENCe to pull this out. They need to get instantaneous headshots. Love in the 3v3 to go towards B site. It's the lesser played site. It's usually undermanned, and they know that if they can get that lead kill, that it can be so difficult to retake. They're going up against an op, which is actually favorable considering the health. Everybody's just 1 shot away from death anyways. Lucky, will he deliver?
Just gets back into cover as the smoke does pop. Misses the first shot, announces himself, and this is now problematic. But he's managed to get the one on top of Van, follows up with the second, and it all falls to Alu. A competent opper in and of himself, but it's the 3-piece from Lucky.
Okay, yeah. It looked a little weird at first, and it was a good smoke to push him back, to make him have to take a timing shot, and as you said, compromise his own spot, letting the op shot ring off, but then fell back, missed that initial engagement, and then picked it right back up with that a beautiful flick, and then got all 3, which was the most surprising part. So good attempt from ENCe in the 3v3, but Lucky was just a little bit too smart. Ali spotted across the stairs. There will be a target in Jax to come up. Full frontal to the A ramp.
Oh, Shox in such a committed position. No way can you get down off of those cinder blocks. So just one kill for him. Traded out immediately, and the entirety of ENCe are here within the A site, but they don't have control of CT spawn, and it's exactly there that Body starts to have these prying eyes. Frag goes deep to no avail, and the Flames to no feet. They're gone.
That's all it. That's it. They call it. Yeah.
All right.
Pretty nice round from ENCe. They get in that entry. Is this big to be able to kill the close A ramp player, because you know you don't have to clear close left. You potentially don't have to clear under Balk, because that would be a strange setup, like having one close A ramp, one under Balk. You'd only do that if you maybe had 3 players. They weren't expecting that, so it was smart for them to move into the A site quite swiftly. I like the deliberate play, not wasting any time, and because they strained the rotate so much by moving as quickly as they did, there was no chance for G2 to feel comfortable trying to reclaim the A site. So they allowed the bomb to go down. ENCe keep 4 up. They tie up the score, and we've got some happy fans in the crowd.
Hey, hey.
That's how you say it to your fans.
That's a Swedish thing.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey. I learned that when I was in Skövde.
Skövde. Okay.
But we're not in Skövde, we're in Jönköping.
Jönköping. Your mama been shopping.
Getting some new furs. Nice to see Malik back in action.
Yeah. I think he forgot his jersey at home.
Maybe he's on trial. You're not allowed a shirt
You know,
yet.
yeah, you just pull out another, just a plain logo tee when you're on trial.
Slight edge here for the defense. Calculating their buy, if they do decide to go in on this.
Yeah, it's a good question. With 3 up, they could definitely consider it. I think they also have the op to protect. So they have to think that if they don't rebuy, they risk losing the guns they currently have as well in the next round. They want to try to maintain some level of consistency and damage, even if they give up rounds so they get 3 players. But here they get the other 2 rifles to couple with the guns. Makes sense. And ENCe are turning up the pace. I like this when you know that the team has maybe had to force up. Great opening kill, and they can slow it all the way down if they want to, but they don't have to. They've got connector control, and ENCe has made it through a smoke. He is wasting no time, Connor.
Right into the action. Or at least right into position.
This is a scary spot for Jax. They are double covering Palace, not A ramp or connector. He could get spammed in the side. ENCe is now exposed to A ramp. This is not a good setup. Okay, Jax needs to move. Alexi catches them off guard. Now they have info on the one player who's dedicated site.
Which means that once X decide to go for the execution, they know there's a player there behind the standard plant. The question is, do they nullify Kenny with a smoke at his feet?
They need to pop this flash over, swing on default, kill him, and then smoke Kenny out.
There's Jax down immediately. Kenny catches a shot to the head, and they spam him through the boxes. Alexi hasn't even had to been activated, and he never will be, because the remainder of G2 are nowhere to be found. A clean sweep of the A site.
He won that round with information. You know, as soon as he knows that a player is moving towards default, that player is going to cover Palace, then he knows if Kenny S is opping A, that he's opping A ramp. So A ramp player just doesn't peek, and you win.
Right, fair enough.
You know, huge peeker's advantage. Everybody knows that angle when you swing out of Palace. It's such an easy fight if you know where to expect the fight to come from. And if they didn't see anyone in there, they would have checked Firebox, or they would have mollied under Balk. And just compromising his position is what was able to win them that round. So nice job collecting information from Alexi B, as well as getting that opening kill, being so aggressive down mid.
But that's it. It comes off the aggression, right? That's no easy feat. High risk, high reward, clearly. Do they further it one better? Yes. Lucky even.
Oh boy.
Oh, he's hiding behind the wall, but that's a complete and utter clearing of the weaponry for G2. No op, no M4 saved.
5 alive.
A blunderbuss.
That is some pretty good stuff. That's some pretty good stuff from ENCe. Looking fearsome here on Mirage.
As they tend to. I think it's to no surprise they've picked this map to begin the series with.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny how it comes full circle. Like the meta, it gets so complicated, and then it gets simplified, it gets refined, and sometimes it's all about just abusing spawn since everything else is understood, and you can catch people off guard. And there, I think they harped on the fact that G2, because they recycled 3 guns, that they had to spend the rest of their money dropping teammates, and didn't have enough utility to stop any early aggression.
And it's not the first time we've seen early aggression. Go back to one of the very first gun rounds when we have ENCe up in the apartment.
Yeah.
You know, 3-piece to the B site, catching body on the first push. Like you said, timing from spawns.
G2 are pretty aware of the fact that they like the mid control, I guess on the ENCe especially, so they've got a good read on the situation. They at least come out with the initial kill, but I think what's most important is that they figured out the right place to go, right? They stacked the correct area of the map.
They're on to them. The detective work here from the Frenchman.
They might know that if they sit in a site, they will be a victim to a team that seeks out information. If ENCe decide to go and scout B out, then it's pointless to have a whole bunch of people stacked there, because then they'll just be avoided. So if they go for the default at mid, that might be their best opportunity to try to get kills early. Smoke goes down in the face of Alu. He found success here in the past. Ariel's going to go out really quickly and gets into the site. This is a huge problem for Jax. He can't peek as wide as he wants to, and X7 takes him down before he can even go after his initial target.
Oh, and the fire at Kenny's feet forces him into an awkward position where Alu will capitalize, winning out on the op duel, taking a man advantage while the bomb's planted all the meanwhile. Not a good look for G2. I mean, they've saved with less. And that's it. They've called it off.
That's all you need, man. 2 quick entries. And again, they're abusing spawns, which is awesome. I don't know, and we don't know, if they're abusing spawns because spawns called that they have a play that they can make, or if IGL is like, all right, let's do this round, and then they spawn, and then they see they have the exact spawn that they want. That could happen as well. So maybe things falling into place for ENCe RNG-wise on the spawn cycles, but they also have a lot of players they can weaponize to take the same spawn and make an aggressive play and then also get a kill. So I see many ways in which ENCe come to the decision to push Palace fast, push mid fast, push B fast. They've done every choke point so far.
Right, and recall back to the last time we see this A hit. It's Jax playing just next to the standard plant and Kenny on ticket, with Jax in the ticket position and Kenny nowhere to be found. I mean, it gets even easier. Poor Jax, completely countered by utility there.
And this is amazing for ENCe because they don't even have to show their full executes. They can just go off these spawn plays. And since the spawn players are working, they still have so much of their playbook left over that they haven't even shown to the other team. So X7 once again pushing up, being annoying, being a pest.
A nuisance.
A mosquito. That would be quite the nickname. Let's hope that doesn't catch on.
Oh, poor Lucky. He's on the top of his teammate's head, so this... Ooh, no,
Oh, and he hears it. Oh, man, that's just the worst of both worlds.
But here comes Richard Papillon.
Okay, yeah.
Floats like a butterfly, stings like the bee. And it is B in the back pocket of G2 now. So they fall off of their initial stack from Van. They have Shox clear it from beneath. And now everybody's trickling over to the A site where they anticipate a hit. And it seems like that's where ENCe are sniffing out. They've gone yet again to the top connector smoke. They're fumbling around in middle, doing something. But what, G2 must ask.
Oh. Seven doesn't, I mean, he's got to be aware that someone could be holding in a passive setup here. This is something his CT would do in the 5v4 especially, where there's no need to work on mid control anymore. And I don't know if there was enough of a peek there to get information. It doesn't seem like it was, and that Molotov is going to be so threatening, and the triple, very volatile setup for the CT's body is left alone in CT spawn. They might not know he's here because that's extra man, but he releases the spray and exposes his position as Alu also capitalizes.
Yep, Jungle's in the back pocket. Sergey's headshot again off of that fantastic spot, and Shox denied any further entry. Alu, so good when he gets to this kind of close staircase connector jungle spot.
That's his spot, man. And we haven't even seen him on CT side. That is what he was like god at on NIP. It was Mirage around the connector stairs area. He's not like the type of player who needs to make a ton of flicks. He's really good positionally, and his op shots are like, it's just they're very simple, right? Like, it just has people run into his crosshairs, and when he gets an ace, it's like, okay, 5 players that he predicted would peak did peak, and he gets a clip.
Here's a different look from the A site, though. A much more aggressive stance as Kenny establishes ramp control. And Sergey's right there. He sees the shadow. Oh, baby. Tantalizing. But he also has Jax in the corner, so you know he doesn't have to get hyper-aggressive. He will get the kill immediately, but they've lost Shox on connector, so his backside's open for the hit. And he's going to double back around, trying to figure out where that T got off to.
Oh, this is so much good map control from the T's, but one player goes down. Kenny has traded out.
Ariel cracks open jungle wide. Jax committed to the ramp, blinded over and over. And the Molotov at his feet pushed him right to the duel. He burns, but he does drop bomb. There's a minute, though, so ENCe still have ample opportunities to retrieve this.
Oh, my God.
Body snuck away into the corner, and Ariel, he just walks right in like a sitting duck. Alu's going to have to clutch.
Oh, he doesn't know how low he needs to aim on this angle, and he misses the shot. That looked quite good. I feel like he was just a pixel off, maybe, but that might have been a 1v2 for the books. Instead, Body gets into a very unorthodox position, considering the circumstances, moving in from CT of all spots to catch both players off guard, so well done from him. And G2 secure a fourth. So quite well done. Starts off with the opening kill from ENCe. He does his due diligence at ramp with the 2 frags in total. Smoke block is missed, but it doesn't matter. Alexi tries to run off with that cat play, and that is immediately shut down. I'm not liking how much triple is being used in this match so far. We've seen the volatility of it be kind of exploited time and time again, and more so your CT player could be your most important player of the map. So, you know, for him to be a liability in this round, coupled with the fact that they've used it so many times that ENCe are going to be terrified of it. They're going to be watching it like a hawk. Oh, there it is. Jax throws that nade. They're going to know he moved to left side sight.
Ooh, but he comes back. Unexpected. An aerial caught. Here comes Shox over the top of the stairs. Ooh. Easy haircut versus Alu, who's probably scoped in at the moment. Palace the last man up, and it's 4 alive for G2. Here we go. A little bit nice. Of re-emergence from the French.
That was just some really nice rifling. Like clean headshots. Instant first peek, 1 taps, no damage dealt.
That's the thing is Jax is this liability on triple like you're saying, but if you have that mid control so firmly in your back pocket.
Yeah, he doesn't have to worry about connectors.
Yeah, or at least less so.
Yeah. No, that is a big problem. That's like the #1 way you like are in a terrible spot because you can't fall back to CT if it's an A split. But since they had mid control, he's a little bit safer. It's just that it's so fully spammable, even from A ramp, even from Palace. But he did a good job of staying fluid. Got his kill somewhere between default and triple. Kind of remained spontaneous throughout. And ENCe have been giving up a lot of map control. But the thing is, this is not a team that I feel like you can give up that much map control with. They're doing really good versus these passive setups. They have a good read in almost every situation. Even on that last round, they knew where the players were that they needed to kill. So I'd be quite scared. Going for the reverse boost into CPL. And Ariel can clear this out, yeah.
All the while, Shox is making plays as well. So both teams being proactive, but you could argue Shox is going to be coming up with a heavier hand. Lucky's primed to stop them if they apply pressure towards B. And as the op fires off, Shox rounds the corner at the top of mid. It's a sitting duck down there if he extends and checks, which he will. Mows him down. Catwalk and App still in question, but he clears the windowsill. And now this just throws everybody into the crosshair of Lucky. We saw him lock this down with a 3-piece last time. Only 1 here in the 13th round. And the secondary opper still standing, but it's young Sergey to pick up a couple of headshots. Push the opper into the open, and that's fine for ENCe. He is caught by Ariel in the end. And the bomb's still easy to retrieve. No, it never fell down. Shox is going to get his eyes on it if he's fast enough. But Ariel 1 step quicker. And as he ejects out through the windowsill, he has the smoke to cover plant. Money would be crucial, but he's pinched now from Catwalk and Apartments.
They're not going to go for the spam. Where does he walk out to? Towards the market? That would be, I think, the... Oh my god, wow. I did not expect him to come out through Cat side. I think would have got crushed, though. Both players had eyes.
Comes out through Cat, but uses the pillar to block off the angle.
Yeah,
so
I just didn't know where the second man was. It was a good try.
Makes the best of a bad situation.
Definitely does. And I'm most happy to see Shox playing so well.
Of course.
He's like sharp shooting right now. Like even here, didn't know where the second player would be, but stayed on full alert and just instantly hit that as he was backpedaling. So beautiful awareness and all 3 frags.
We keep this one going.
Still a small lead here for ENCe. But G2 are staying stalwart.
Smidgen of damage off the frag.
Not the meatiest of nades.
Just a warning volley. The deep artillery.
No, ENCe, they don't. So here's the situation. They don't have mid. ENCe is triple. He's opping at least. And Lucky's over at B, boosted on the bench. This is totally fine. I don't know if they're. I don't think they're exposed to cats. They might be. They might not be. But they don't have anyone watching it unless that guy in window has the cross. And that guy, I mean, Shox. Yeah. So there's some holes here. ENCe have gone quiet, cut noise totally. It's clear what their game plan is, but because we could see where the bomb is postured. But we don't know at what point will they execute, and at what point do G2 give up this A stack? Shox is going to get smoked out of his position, pushed into 2 Ts.
But he's been fine in these positions. He's been fantastic even. Oh no, caught by Alu. That must have been a very narrow angle. Capitalizing on the shot. And Kenny's goes
What a peak.
slightly wide. Cannot trade immediately so, and that Opera and Alu is coming to join them towards ramp. That's going to mean quite the meaty after plant if they can put the bomb down for him, which they'll try. And Kenny's not going to be able to stop this. The retake's on. 3 kits and plenty of utility. They can smoke off the palace and the ramp and try to pressure the players to peek out wide. But first they'll look to cut down the numbers. Bomb ticking nearly halfway already. Flashes up in the sky, popping as the T's decide to take their peeks. Kenny S still just working around the triple stack, and he's trying to use this utility, but there's just too many players, it seems.
Okay. Wow. That was quite nice.
The ops are on point all across the board.
Everybody's hitting shots right now, which is making this so exciting, and it's so tit for tat, and it makes it even more impressive that ENCe still somehow have a lead, even though some of the rounds that G2 won have been so impressive. But that was a good afterplant, you know. They dealt with Shox quite well. They got what they wanted out of their smoke, I think, and what a peek from Sergey, man. He peeked right into where Kenny S was waiting, but it was so tight that it was just enough to get default, get all the spam damage in, and it was like, how could you ask Kenny to adjust for that, you know?
A minimal peak and
Beautiful.
incredibly fast.
Incredibly fast.
You know, didn't even stick around for half a second. In and out.
In and out.
Like a burger.
Like a cheap burger.
And now in through smoke. Insult to injury, salt in the wound, and op over the top of the smoke looking for another. Attempting to double down on Connector. That smoke blocks off the lower player, but Alu's going to have vision over. This is a grueling fight right now. Oh, you know G2 don't want to give up a man advantage further, but there it is. Lucky's caught off with the corner player. Shox only getting 1. X7 with a fantastic trade as Jax gets in behind just seconds too late, Launders.
And that's it. They're all ready in their spots. Connector smoke's still up. They have the guys of the smoke to put the bomb down, and Ariel gets a key kill. Bomb doesn't even get down there. That's Kenny S to miss quite a sitter. Will run through the fire to make up for the lost ground. Hits a fantastic flick to kick off what could be an insane 1v4, but there it is. Alu from the jungle to close out the half. 9-6 half here for ENCe. And they look calm, cool, and collected.
Yeah. I mean, that's a 2-round start for G2. They get that string of 3 towards the later portion. I think it was really the reset in round 5 versus G2 that kind of put them on a back pedal. You know, they managed still to get something of a half, but they themselves need a solid T side. And I mean, ENCe, we know they're a Mirage team through and through, so it's not going to be an easy feat.
No,
what I do
all.
like is the fact that all the oppers are firing off. We saw Lucky with some solid B holds.
Definitely.
Kenny S hitting some beautiful shots, but the problem is for G2 that Alu's right up there with them.
And
So
yeah, and he's been on an upswing again. The only player on the team that's actually on an uptrend in terms of stats overall in the past few months. So that's a big stat line for ENCe. And he's been off and on this tournament, but just good enough, and his teammates are all good enough as well. Like, they're a real force right now. ENCe have really leveled up in the past few LAN events that they've played at. This is the kind of event that they can now expect to win.
right, and Jacob, again, discussing that on the desk, where each event they seem to kind of take one more step forward.
Get better, yeah.
They did have a hiccup at Epicenter.
Yeah, it was
they
quite
lost-
a hiccup, but
But then again, I mean, they took a 2-1 series versus FaZe and Hellraisers.
Right.
Like, a hiccup, but still a decent showing.
yeah, spots of brilliance.
But now, amidst their own tier of competition, they are gunning for that semi-final spot.
Feels like in most of the maps we've watched, this 9-6 half has not got out of hand. It's always the team who's losing to grab this, come right back into it. Will the trend follow? ENCe have already got some early damage in. Ariel stays alive, and the flash was meant to catch him and kill him. But that isn't the case. It's going to be a 5-on-5 retake most likely as the CTs get into position, but they don't have window control, so it looks like a lot of them are moving in through CT spawn. Smoking a flash up, nope. Oh, there is a kid, actually.
Oh, the jump spam draws the crosshairs away long enough for Kenny to get a kill and assist. Comes back for a little bit more, but he's not going to float too hard because he knows he's probably outnumbered. All the while, the rest of G... Oh. Kenny S already has a pistol ace in his back pocket here at DreamHack Winter. Sergey, in a valiant effort, runs forward. No, he has the kit, but doesn't have the kills. He's swarmed once Kenny finally dies. I mean, what a good gatekeeper there in Kenny.
Absolutely. And now they look to even up. So now we're going to potentially have a tied scoreline. And if I'm G2, I'm just really worried about Overpass not being a given. It's going to be a risk in their own minds.
Right.
You know, they're testing a bunch of new stuff that they haven't been able to use as much as they'd like versus all the top teams, et cetera, and so forth, you know, on land and the high pressure situation. So there's going to be question marks for them no matter how well prepared you think they might be. And so Mirage being this close, got to be pretty tasty at the moment.
Oops. Easy pickups. One and another and another and another. But we get through these anti-ecos, and the lead's starting to dwindle down. Just a single round, and immediately Alu on the off. That's what I like to see. I'm actually quite shocked now that I look at the scoreboard with him only on 9 frags. I feel like impact-wise, he's been kind of lighting things up.
Sure,
and so I assumed he'd be near 15.
Yeah, but like, look at everybody's got so many kills. It's like there's not even enough to go around.
Fair.
Right? They're just like all playing so well at the moment. So
Even pieces of the pie.
yeah, not quite as top-heavy of a team as G2 maybe. Mid-control on the docket for G2 Esports. And it has been pretty much evacuated. There's no CTs in sight. Similar setups, similar scenes here for ENCe in the second half as G2 gave to them in the first. Now, where do they go from here? They've got some map control. They're starting to congregate. It seems like, I don't know, a connector, it could potentially be a B fake into connector, but they don't have anyone at A ramp to help with the split if things go south. It'd be nice to sell a fake with 2 MAC-10s. You lose not that much. And you maybe get a kill. You maybe get a lot of money, and then you can work on A after the rotates are out. It'll be a topsy-turvy affair here for ENCe.
Oi.
Wow, that's good.
Good timing. Wasn't even meant for this boost, but rather the bottom of connector. Now they're going to start combining. The catwalk in the app. They do have this corner position from Alexi. He swings so wide that he gets himself a couple of kills, but it's a couple of players still up for the side of G2. Last man cleared. Aerial on the M4A1S picks up those final pieces, and it's ENCe with double digits first.
Yeah, they shut it down. Cat split just neutralized immediately. There was no moment there where they had a chance. Great flash to kick things off, obviously. Enabled a wide swing. And it was, I think Alexi delivered with the amazing spray control. 2 headshots for him. Only MAC-10s off the board, so we're going to have another buy-up for G2 as they move into what looks like a full-on A hit. Top mid smoke just to draw the attention of the mid players, and we can see 3 CTs all have their eyes here on this lane. Oh, Sergey forced to smoke himself out, somehow gets shot, and it's not a wallbang.
Little damage.
Oh my god.
All too easy for Alu. That kill right there establishes the man advantage. Everybody else for ENCe is ready to go. Side by side with the Opper towards spawn, the double peek from stairs primed, but the sandwich player is where I want to keep my eyes. Kenny S with the Galil may have an element of surprise, just like Lucky. But this is so far ticked already. Excellent wallbang, but they need to get on top of this bomb. I mean, it's 3/4 of the way gone. They've plumed the smoke atop of it, and now these players are starting to be cleared, but can he connect the spray down? Jax needs the frag, and Alu gives cover. The defuse is there.
Oh my god.
Down to the wire, Mohan, but they pull it out again.
I didn't think they had time even if they ran for it. And he almost died. That was a Galil spray that could have continued into a kill. But good coverage from the teammates. Alu from the top ropes, making sure his teammate could not get spammed. That was beautiful from him. Just the watchtower
in that
with the
situation,
AWP.
if Jax is closer towards ramp or not on the top of Tetris, he can still line up that spray because the smoke would cover him from Alu's high ground. If he jumps up onto the Tetris box, you see how Alu gets that angle. And I wonder to myself, like, would he have had the time to try and at least get the spam in as opposed to being plucked? He exposes himself, and Alu grabs the opportunity with both hands. And what's the net result? G2 back on pistols.
Jax is going to take the liberty of buying half armor to even out the economy with his teammates. They're fortified somewhat, a couple of nades to maybe implore a strategy, and then some upgraded pistols to get the damage in. Again, heavy presence from ENCe towards the middle area. Smoke goes out on Palace. It's around the time that G2 want to try to execute. Up A ramp, it's the longer path to the bomb going down. So I'd like to see what their pathing is going to be.
It's going to be the explode out from ramp, and Sergey, he senses this. Oh, my frag grenade. Sergey follows suit, instantaneously toppling body, and now there's just no smoke for the cover here. They're screwed. Aerial soars forward with a crescendo of kills, and while Shox tries as he might, last man up 1v5, I think not.
Nice. Yeah, doesn't need the bullets. Just the Silence M4 looking like Forrest with the clinical spray down, holding his ground from the stairs. Well done from Aerial. Minimal losses. Did they deny a bomb plant? Did the bomb go down? No,
Bomb did not. They didn't even get it across.
Yeah, so they did invest a little bit there. They probably spent around like $1,500 across all teammates, and they have nothing to show for it. Got to be a little bit frustrated if you're G2, a little bit worried, for sure. Inaugural event for this new lineup.
Right. Had some decent online performances prior to getting here to Yangcheping.
Yeah, they beat OK Suck.
Yeah, big beat. And Diffuse Kids.
Diffuse Kids. Took him down, smashed him. Ground him up.
Here we go, back into the action. Back in on a full buy. One op per side, but lackluster utility for G2. Close opportunity there for Alu. Could have just snipped the shoulder of the top mid peak. Heavy pressure quickly applied to the side of apartments, and Jax falls back.
Wow.
Between two flames, he must stay.
Yeah, they had the nade trajectory on point. Molotov right at his feet without getting extinguished by the smoke. HE grenade squarely landed at his toes as well. Lots of good utility damage early on. This is what you want to see. CTs doing damage without showing themselves. This is how Astralis made their mark.
I was going to say Astralis style. Cannot kill what you cannot see.
Sandwich is not a great spot when you don't have mid control, but it's also a hard spot to get out of if you think someone might be camping around the A ramp. Body gets tagged up in connector and finished off by Aerial just barely.
Yeah, nobody there to trade immediately. You can see Lucky still lingering at the bottom of mid. The Palace player doesn't want to risk himself swinging wide.
Oh, they're running headfirst into 3 players with an op that would love to see an A hit come out.
Alu poised and prepared. Sergey even softens one up, drops Shox prior to the execution coming forward here. So now Lucky needs to combine so that it's a two-pronged assault.
See, this is where Lucky sees an opportunity, but he's got to get to the top of connector, avoid Cat, not be seen, and then maybe can drop on him. He's also got to deal with Jungle. That's the first one to go down, but Sergey not only kills him, but gets out of dodge with the cover of his smoke as well.
And Alu all the while still honed in on ramp. 10 seconds left. They know there's no time. This is a 13th for ENCe, just bleeding the clock to another round win.
Well done. Grinded them to a halt. Excellently played on the CT side. Setup was solid the whole way through. Good individual plays. Sergey, again, tight spot to play sandwich. It's a spot that you pepper in throughout a half, maybe once or twice. But you know, once it's known, it gets mollied out quite often. It's not that favorable versus Palace, but if you pick the correct timing, you get the first few bullets in. Here, it was a trying engagement, and he came out on top. And then here, he used that smoke to make sure he had a safe way to escape instead of just throwing caution to the wind and wide swinging on A ramp as they waited for him to trade. So that was well done by him, and just overall smart stuff from ENCe as a unit.
Pause called off, running out of which one remains.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a conversation. They're 5 rounds behind, though. This is a tough, very steep mountain to climb.
Yeah, and they opened up this half with 2 rounds won, but it's been silent ever since. A near mirrored image as to what we saw in the first half. So they were still able to add rounds to the board eventually. You just got to crack through this stellar defense. And that's what we had come to expect from ENCe on Mirage. You know, it's home turf for the Finns.
So this could be one of the last rounds to close it out. Pistols are absent. It's actually going to be a force-up. I thought they wouldn't have the best guns ever, and that's partially true. Kenny and Body are naked. No armor for them. It's Kenny who has an AWP at the very least, so he'll be just fine, but they're both down to 0. This could be a Hail Mary from G2. If they lose this, they might be out of this map.
Shox is the one player who's fully loaded. Belt of utility, AK armor, and teammates all behind him. He creates a little bit of space by getting out onto Tetris. You could see the CT starting to trickle and filter over. They could throw a boost into this, and that would make such a liability towards jungle, but a fantastic frag grenade misses its mark. Still, the pinch on the peak. They get them from both directions.
Yeah, zoning grenade.
And on top of it all now, this execution outwards, it's hitting a bit of a wall. There's so many CTs ready to rock and roll, but they do clear spawn at least. Last man up dropped by Aerial. And that right there is his 3rd frag on the round.
He's had amazing maps so far. He's 22 and 12 in this one. I think in the previous map he was like 25 and 7, so he's just been lighting it up. He's awesome. He has been awesome. No doubt. And that was, you know, full force up, down to 0, not much money to work with. They had enough to get the op, so they're like, yeah, like we're tempted. Let's try it. And I can't blame them for going for it. They've got so many rounds to come back from. They didn't want to go to 14 with extra money remaining and then have to come back from 8 rounds. Like that's a lot to deal with. But here they're calling attack pause. They're not knocking on death's door just yet. It's only map 1, but it is an important one. The series goes on longer. It's going to favor the team that has more experience with more maps.
Of course.
And that's ENCe.
Yeah, again, just to reiterate, we saw that questionable map pool maybe cause an effect yesterday with the Bravado matchup, so G2 themselves have spoken about it. Kenny, I believe particularly, like this is a proving time. This is, you know, they're feeling themselves out. First LAN appearance compared to ENCe, who is again making marked improvements over and over with each showing. And quite the showing here on Mirage, just to kick off the series. Remember, Overpass follows suit and Dust 2 if needed, folks. But a fast clash up Cat, that's where ENCe is caught. Curiosity kills him, and Alu can't trade straight away, but they know there's still T's here. If he decides to go exploring forward, he may bite off more than he can chew.
Catching themselves a mid-jump, and that spray down could have been a whole lot more fruitful, but X7 could be offered up a whole round to himself. Glory here for him if he gets 2 more kills.
Flash device time, bomb still in the dirt. Aerial does get out of Marketplace, but he too toppled by Lucky. Excellently done. He's sitting on 3 kills alone. Half of his HP gone, but so is the entirety of ENCe.
Okay.
Lucky taking control of this situation.
Yeah, and they were planning to force up throughout this, so it would have just gotten very ugly if they didn't get this, because they didn't have any money. They would have gone to 15. They would have had to force again. It would have just been like 3 force-ups in a row if they lose, and they fortunately were able to find this one by the skin of their teeth. Lucky, very nice entries to help them into B. Every single player going down here. Good show of mechanical ability, good coverage of his teammates, and just smart awareness. Kenny S also starting off this round hot with an opening kill in the first 10 seconds.
Alu wants one of his own, and he'll find it. Follow-up shot astray, and Lucky gets the chance as that op's on cycle.
Kenny S finds another one. Sergey just refreshing his spots. Probably thought this isn't going to be cleared since the connector player went down. But Kenny S was in tune with the threat. Missed shot from ENCe B. That's not a shot you have to be an opper to hit. So kind of an unfortunate miss. The underpass play could prove to be effective. I don't know. Are they just going to stack B and assume that if it's B, then they win the round? If it's not, then they save? Because right now, they might have a chance to actually take this. Will X7 turn around fast enough? He does. He drops the bomb. He gets damage in. Jax is low. The op will peek up and actually gets a kill, making a 1v2. The bomb can now retreat. Shox can catch him off guard, and it should be a hard round to win, but I'm sure he's feeling into this.
The corner may get covered. No, Shox does find it. Shox very well played in the sense that he's just on the opposite side of the map, working around, gaining so much information. You know, he took it for the clear once ENCe misses the shot on the cross. And even once things go south on the B bomb site, he puts himself in a position to finish things down. So, a well done.
Yeah, well done.
A well done.
Congratulations.
Look at the result.
Finally a save. Getting tired of seeing ENCe on guns.
Seen this before as well in these sorts of rounds. Just a quick clash at the top of mid. And the flashbang facilitates the process.
gotten enough kills this round, Lucky.
Stop.
Now you die.
Oh, he's stat padding in the wrong direction. Just need to sniff out these last 2 CTs, one on A and mid. Clear route towards the B side if Jax continues forward.
And will they have trouble closing? 11-14, good comeback into this game from G2. They did it off of a heroic individual play. Now they can come and show their tactics and see what they have to offer on Mirage. They allowed this map to go through. They must be ready for it in some way. This game is now not over. It definitely felt like it was going to be, especially when ENCe got that 14th round, forced them to force up again when they could have saved, and terrible buy, and then them still winning that. This goes to show you they are resilient. They're still composed. Still got stuff to show us. Someone just jump over the crosshairs of Valu. No one's at actually a ramp right now. But they've got a fortified setup. This is what you want to do if it's going to be some kind of contact explode towards A.
Right, you've got the Opera drawing attention, and ramp control should be in the hands of ENCe, because Aerial surprising them from the side. Bomb completely alone now on an attempt out from Palace.
Yeah, and he has made presence. He got a trade, so they know the bomb's here. They're not going to know about Shocks, but maybe they assume he's trying to pull off some lurks since there's time left over, and he hasn't made presence, and there it is, his first opponent on Cat.
Then he walks right into X7. Last man's lucky. He was trying to get that bomb back over, but like you saw, Shocks, he needed to make his play at that moment, and he's caught out in the open.
There
And
it is.
15 rounds, 4 map points here on the choice of ENCe. Can they finish this one off? I'm glad you brought that up just moments ago. Finishing games can sometimes be one of their biggest faults.
Yeah.
So they're there, and they only need one more.
One more. And how's the money? They're gonna put it by together. Yeah, it's a. It's rough. It's looking very rough.
Haphazard.
Interesting to see how many times Alu's actually decided to op window in this game. It's just not something you see anymore. But that's something the meta has to kind of just recycle over and over again. Something doesn't get used a lot, well, you can bring it back in, and it's just like it can catch players off guard. They look prepared for this B hit, but at the same time, the next player up is somewhere on Cat. Oh, that's a fortunate first kill and a lot of great damage.
Yeah, and now Lexi's already prepared for this, dropping out the bomb. That's going to confirm the rotate's over. Kenny's trying to punch his way out of the situation, and he has. 2 frags off of the op. Shocks caught, and Alu up close.
Okay.
Says no. Get bodied. Kenny S now has to do it all. He'll need the ace in the 27th round if he wants to keep this one rolling forward. They are all prepared for his peaks. They know exactly where he's at, and now they'll swarm.
Wow.
Charging forward. Kenny about to hit the floor if they time it properly. Molotov even, just as an insurance policy. ENCe win their map choice, and we move to Overpass.
It's not a Series 1, but it is a huge victory. That is an amazing map from ENCe. They look solid. They put G2's feet to the fire. They move on to Overpass. I am so curious about this. It's going to be the first time we see this lineup on Overpass.
Right.
It's the first time I think that we casted Overpass at this tournament. Don't know if it's been played yet.
Fair. At least for us.
Yeah, it's been a lot of nukes, a lot of dust twos, which is quite surprising, but a welcome change.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, now I'm ready to get back to it. I know Kenny S is such an amazing opera on Overpass. I like that they're taking on the map. I think it plays to his strengths, so we'll see if they have what it takes on Overpass, and if they don't, that's the end of the line for G2.
Kenny S clearly playing well here on Mirage as well, so it should be a good part of the equation, folks. We will see you on Overpass for map 2 between ENCe and G2.